And they've got some first and seconds for sale over there. If you're struggling for inventory, I actually did buy a note from PPR. Did we talk about that? We haven't done a follow-up.
I don't even think.
Did we talk about the purchase actually occurring?
Not on the show. Yeah, no.
We should have saved that one, but now the cat's out of the bag.
First, seconds, performing, non-performing? What the f***? Note buyers, when it seems like you're in this business alone, know Chase, Robert, and the rest of their tribe are at it every week. They're bringing updates from their own note businesses as they work to find, fund, and finish deals. Follow along as they share their grassroots education with you, tuition free. If you'd like to know more about what they do and to download the entire back catalog, check out NoteMBA.com. Now, here are your hosts, Chase Thompson and Robert Woods.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Note MBA podcast, your home for note investing on iTunes. I am Chase Thompson, joined as always by Robert Woods. What is up, good sir?
Nice weather here in Florida. I am going to head out to Spring Hill, Florida, as soon as you and I are done recording, go hang out with the Jeff Conway, according to his email header on Gmail, which I love. He's a realtor out of Spring Hill and getting interested in the note business, so we're going to go hang out. Grab some lunch, meet the folks in his office, and just kind of, I'm going to have a day of shooting the shit.
Very nice. You say that, but I've actually met Jeff. I think they're moving, they're shaking, they're doing some good stuff. So it'll probably be pretty productive while also shooting the shit. So that'll be good.
Yeah, that's like me saying someone else's vacation is my Wednesday. So we're just going to go hang out. This should be good.
I love it.
What else you got going? You got a new iPhone, huh?
Oh, my gosh. I don't even know why this is part of the show. Here's why this is part of the show. We got an email from an investor, which we're actually going to be talking to you guys about because it brings tons of value. And I said I didn't see it yet because I had to get a new iPhone because mine wasn't working. Switched carriers, got a new iPhone. That's not the story. The story
is very much the story. I disagree and interject. You know why? Because it takes me back to my first big kid job out of college and my mentor yelling about having good technology.
Really? Explain.
Yeah. You know investors who are trying to run a business, and if you could see me, I'm putting up air quotes, and they don't even have a printer in their home.
Oh, wait.
Right? But hold on. So think about this. The value of your new iPhone 7, they're expensive. Even I don't want to spend that much money for an iPhone 7. But I'm about ready to throw my 5 out the window because something's messed up with the screen. And I wanted to bring it up as a point of having good technology, not the best and latest and greatest, but what you can do with that cell phone. The video quality, the audio quality, being able to shoot videos on the fly, take great pictures. It should be a business expense that you don't have a problem shelling out for.
Yes, I got mine new because I switched carriers. And so 2 notes on this. I did not realize how much value this was going to bring. You, sir, definitely foresaw something I didn't see in this particular topic. Number 1, I changed from Sprint after literally being with them for 20 years. I got my first Sprint phone in 96, and they overcharged me this past month. I called to get what is essentially probably $60 taken off my bill because I was just, they flat out overcharged me. They wouldn't do it after 2 decades of service, and I switched a week later. Unbelievable.
That's I just got an email, or not an email, I got a letter from my internet provider saying your introductory rate is ending. Now it's going up $25 a month for the exact same thing.
So you see, it was unbelievable. When I had to call to get my account number to actually get it switched over, the lady's like, I don't understand, yada, yada. This seems like something she could have taken care of. And I said, I talked to 4 different employees and no one would take it off. She was blown away.
So you also wasted an extra $60 worth of time.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So anyway, there's that note.
We digress.
Interesting also to have you talk technology. I actually just had to have a conversation with a videographer, and he basically, we're in a conversation talking about video and stuff, and he was talking about some work he was going to do, and he said, okay, well, let's exchange, can I get your number or what have you, so that way I can follow up with you. And I said, sure. So he pulls out his phone to get my number. It was literally probably the same flip phone I signed up with 20 years ago with Sprint in 1996. This dude had the oldest phone I'd ever seen in my whole life. And it didn't matter, only insofar as my immediate thought was, what is he shooting this video with if he legitimately has a 1992 flip phone?
He probably has like a what is it, Nikon T2 or whatever with like 40 different lenses because he's not spending
exactly
$800 every year on a cell phone.
So my next thought was, well, now he can probably afford a drone because he has this flip phone. But it was just this really funny moment in like a business setting where I'm like, wait, did I take a am I time traveling here? This is crazy. Anyway, customer service, technology, yes, very important. But the email I missed is also very important. Came to us via an investor that I wanted you wanted to bring up on the show because I think it's kick ass. I think it's an amazing update on self-directed IRAs.
I just got a response as well. I think we're going to read this cryptically, but I'm just going to read the email.
Okay.
It says, I wanted to share something with you that I learned about 401k access while still currently employed with the company that administers your 401k. It may help you with other investors interested in working with you, but have their 401k money locked up because they're still at the same job. While some employers and 401k administrators allow rollovers to a different custodian while still currently employed, the majority do not, something which I'm very well aware of from a few different 401ks that I had in my corporate career. So she goes on and she's saying, apparently if you were married and at least in Texas, parentheses here, and probably other community property states, so specifically this information is coming from Texas, a spouse can do a 401k partition of up to 95% of the 401k as a rollover to the other spouse's name to a self-directed IRA custodian of choice. Then the receiving spouse can then self-direct that rolled over amount that now becomes a traditional IRA. I have to say, though, even if I were married, I would probably only do this if my spouse was making an equivalent 401k partition to me of the same amount. All's fair in love and war. So that one, I think you just take however you want to do it. The response came back, though, it was kind of great. Definitely an interesting option, but it could cause some awkward conversation between spouses who aren't equivalent breadwinners. Now, the attorney that we've been told handles this, he's out of Austin, Texas. We haven't talked to him, haven't done any background, but his name is Henry J. Novak. And don't bombard him with stuff unless it's something you're actually going to do. But I think it's great information to look into. And as Chase said, another opportunity to go out there and raise money. You know, we do a lot of work with self-directed IRAs. This is another way to get funds in there. Joe, we've got an investor out of Chicago that they just got some funds transferred over, and it took, 4 or 5 weeks. Chase, how long did it take?
Might even have touched 6, but yeah, it took quite a while. This is a fascinating way to look at potentially capital raising. Now, I love the all's fair in love and war comment, but for real, this is an amazing opportunity to pick up another 2, 3, maybe even 4 assets, depending on how much money they've got in there, with the same JV partner, quote unquote, if it's a spouse or whatever the case may be, and really help not only obviously the investor ramp up what they're trying to do from a retirement perspective, but also help ramp up your business. I think it's incredible. I did not know this at all. This is obviously completely news to me, but it's a really, really great strategy.
Yeah, so it's something great to look into. Anyone that's still at a job, got a 401k, and has been interested in saying, hey, how can I unlock some of these funds? And she made a great comment where she's like, it might be easier just to switch jobs to roll over into your own name, but switching jobs after this many years sounds like a struggling debate. But, interesting thing about talking about investor capital, you had just mentioned you got to talk to an investor this weekend who said they'd followed basically the exact same marketing tips we continue to talk about that you provide everybody, Chase, the stuff that you're doing on a regular basis to just keep us out in front with the Note MBA name and what we're doing about some of the marketing stuff. So tell me about that. What went down there?
Well, yeah. So we mentioned last show that I was participating with the Note Camp. It went really, really well. We had about just under 400 investors kind of register for it. So that was awesome. But during this event, 2 things I wanted to touch base on real quick. We had 3 people present on self-directed IRAs or solo 401ks. Actually, Tyler Carter was at the event, who we've interviewed on the show before, and none of them mentioned this strategy. this 401k rollover from a spouse type strategy. So I think it speaks to the importance of, if you've got a New View or a Quest IRA or an IRA Trust Services, these types of companies in your backyard, equity trust, whatever, if they do these, mixers or educational nights or whatever the case is, you've got to get out to some of these events from an education perspective, because you're going to pick up these nuggets like this. I mean, we had 3 people presenting, over the course of 4 days, and this strategy didn't come out. And this could easily potentially put some more, capital into your business. So from an education perspective, head out to these IRA events. I think it's it does nothing for your business but help you, right? So number one. Number two, talking about the presentation I got to give on marketing at this event, I was basically talking about, different marketing strategies and things that I've implemented in the business. And one of the participants, because at this event, I basically offer up kind of this webinar, website building, PDF combo package thing. It's just this really kind of self-contained, inexpensive marketing package, right? And one of the attendants said that he picked it up at the last event, and he's been implementing it like to the T, exactly what I said to do in this, boom, 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 boom. And he's doing a phenomenal job at raising capital. And he just keeps sending me messages on Facebook. This is a guy who's actually been reaching out to me directly and just, hey, just want to let you know I got another 35K. Just want to let you know I got another 50K. Just want to let you know he's like, I put up these videos on YouTube and they're getting traction. I'm getting calls. So it just was this really awesome, not only edification of what we talk about here about omnipresence and marketing and getting yourself out there and talking about your business, but also just incredibly humbling that this guy would go do and then see the results was just really, really cool. And just, it was just validation and all the things. It just was awesome. So from a capital raising perspective, you've got a guy that has a real opportunity to change what he's doing for his family. He's got the full time. He's trying to get his note business, his real estate business off the ground. And he's just literally color by numbering, what I'm saying to do from a marketing perspective. And he's continuing to raise capital week after week, week after week, week after week. And that's we had Wayne on the show talking about replacing his 6-figure income. How else are you going to do it? There's no other way to do it, right? Unless you're out there methodically doing what you have to do to raise the capital to find the deals, then raise the capital to find the deals, and then obviously execute against those and do well when you actually have funded deals and what have you. But not screwing out people that have been with you for 20 years. Thank you, Sprint. Sorry, I just want to dig Sprint. Anyway. No, it was really, really cool and an amazing opportunity for me to get. I don't get a ton of that type of feedback when people work with me in that kind of marketing capacity. And so it was just really, really cool. And it was pretty awesome to kind of see that happen for him. And he's slaying it though. I mean, he's taking everything and just doing all of it and just doing an amazing job.
Awesome, dude. That's always good to hear.
And I think he's a listener to the show, so I think he'll know who he is. But he'll probably send me a message and just say, hey, was it me you were talking about?
Well, that's awesome, dude. It's interesting. We had been talking about some other deals that are going on around us. And fortunately, because of some of the extra interactions we get to have, we hear about some more deals or we see more deals. And even myself, I had a couple deals that I would call them the low-hanging fruit, but I hadn't been doing anything with them. And I always go back to this weird quote. This is kind of a separate subject from my father, always telling me that not taking action is still making a decision. And it's interesting because you're talking about the fruits of his labor paying off with the marketing and he's been doing, actually seeing what he's getting. And when you realize everybody makes these lists of all these things I'm going to do, and it's even more reinforced because I've been going back through the goals. We're in fourth quarter. So I started rereading The 4-Hour Workweek, a book that's really motivated me and kind of recentered. I've had a great year this year, but also recentering and refocusing on, am I focused just on income or am I focused just on enjoyment? Am I balancing health and family and friends? But we go back to, not doing some of the things you say you're going to do or you want to do is still an active decision that you're making. So it's maybe a reinforcer when somebody gives you a shout out. It feels good, exactly what you said, Chase, to kind of get that kind of you get a gratification from somebody acknowledging they've gotten the value out of work that you've put together for them. And I apologize if there's some jingling in the background. The dog just came downstairs.
Speaking of the dog just came downstairs, and I didn't want to cut you up, but I totally agree with you. And you want to talk about action, inaction. You know, we've recorded some shows in some really bizarre places. We talked to some people that just, you know, oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys are on episode this, or that you guys are still running this, or we've had past guests that we've had to call for certain things, and they go, oh yeah, I was on the show. How's that going? And, you know, like they just don't get that it's still kind of, that we're still doing it. We're still taking the action. We're still doing it. I'm actually the one that's recording in a strange place today. I wasn't going to make it to the office in time to record our episode, so I'm literally in a parking lot of a coffee shop that I know has really good Wi-Fi, but I didn't want to go inside because it's unbelievably busy inside this thing. So I'm sitting in my car, recording this show, getting it done, just doing what I have to do and doing what I want to do to continue to grow and see things happen within our business. I just feel like a lot of people aren't willing to do that. And it sounds bizarre to say I'm not willing to take my car and drive to a coffee shop or whatever, but flat out, that if that's what it takes to get it done, that's what I'm going to take to get it done. You know, I drop my daughter off at school, and I'm like, I'm just not going to make it to the office in time. But I know I can make it here, and I'll wait, and I'll accomplish, and I'll go, and I'll do. It's just continued, just keep doing more of what works and less of what doesn't. And that simple process, more of what works and less of what doesn't, will get you there. Just keep doing that.
I love it, dude. So, on another note, let's go back to some education stuff. You had said that you had heard Dave Van Horn, who we've had on the show from PPR, was talking about collateral assignments.
Yeah.
And a strategy they use to raise capital. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, I'm 99% sure Dave won't mind us using his name to pitch an idea that they'd raise some capital for PPR. Go check out the Note Vault, by the way, if you guys haven't gone over to PPR. And they've got some first and seconds for sale over there. If you're struggling for inventory, I actually did buy a note from PPR. Did we talk about that? We haven't done a follow-up.
I don't even think.
Did we talk about the purchase actually occurring?
I don't think we ever did. Not on the show. Yeah, no.
Oh, no. We should have saved that one. But now the cat's out of the bag.
We should have saved it for when we bring Dave back on the show. So what Dave was talking about is somebody had asked a question of him, basically saying, you know, what did you do when you got started? How did you get started? What were, some of the strategy you used? And he said that he and his partner, I believe he had two business partners. They went out and they bought 4 notes. They bought 4 seconds. And 2 of them, one of them was a grand slam. The other one was a home run. And then 2 of them were complete strikeouts, right? Which I thought was great. But what they slowly did when they got these notes reperforming is they did a collateral assignment on it. So basically, they, went to the bank and they went to somebody. I say the bank. They went to somebody that had money, and they basically borrowed against this performing note, right? And he said oftentimes how he was able to structure these collateral assignments, though, is that his payout on this particular collateral assignment would be less than what the actual note was bringing in. So if he had like a performing first, the payout on the collateral assignment on, from a monthly basis or what have you, would be $500. But the note itself was bringing in, $675 or something to that end.
So it was a unique way to leverage through assignment.
Oh, exactly. So then they were able to recapitalize and sometimes, not always, but sometimes be above what the payout would be on the particular assignment itself. So he was able to, like I said, recapitalize. And he mentioned that this is literally how they funded the starting of PPR, like the entire company, through these collateral assignments, being able to recapitalize out and then reinvest those dollars back into new deals and then pay off those assignments. But that's how they did it. It the exact opposite of like a borrowing from Peter to pay Paul scenario. They were assigning for less than what it was bringing in. And then when they got paid out on deals, they would pay those off. And then it was a fantastic way to fund his company.
So in a unique way, that's like a different version of what Eddie talks about with selling partial.
Yes, exactly.
But Interesting. I mean, I think it's just one more way to skin the cat, right?
I totally agree with you. I think the difference is what? I guess the difference is potentially he's not signing over an exact number, maybe, of payouts, potentially.
Yeah, because with partials, there's always the issue if it pays off early.
Right. And so I think potentially that's the only difference. Though, again, it goes back to, we talked about, obviously no camp happened or whatever, or this 401k rollover strategy that one of our listeners, emailed us about, going out to these IRA events for education or whatever. There is so many different strategies, so many different ways safely and I say non-risky, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Just different ways to look at different ways to fund deals and doing it in a way that is completely above board, nothing outrageous. I mean, you and I have a good friend, Dan Zatowski, and this is essentially what he does. This is literally the way that he rolls it out. He gets a note, turns it into an REO, turns it into that rental, and then it becomes a turnkey rental, sells off the partial, or does a collateral assignment, uses those funds that come back into and then just rinse, repeat. And he's been able to do an amazing amount of business in a very short amount of time using that type of strategy.
Nice, dude. Well, I think it gives me something to think about.
I love that. That gives you something to think about for the show. That's all right. Well, very good. That's fantastic. One last thing I wanted to mention. You had referenced potentially some future travel coming up. Are you leaving the States again?
I am leaving the States, but not yet. Next week I'm going to Kansas City to meet with a good buddy of mine on another development deal. And, we sold the spec house, so that's kind of got my feet, put my toes in the water, and I'm ready to get, I'm going to jump in, but it's only about 4 feet of water, so I still keep my chest out of the water right now. So we've got that, and then I've got a place out in Vegas that I have allowed to sit there vacant for 5 months now, and I need to go sell it. So I've got a buddy out there that wants to buy my loft in Vegas, so I'm going to go out and meet with him and sell off some furniture and get that done. And then I believe I will potentially make a little stop in Southern California, hopefully visit a couple people. We'll see how the timing of all that goes. And then we've got trips to either Chicago or Cleveland. Be interested to see how the rest of this playoffs play out for the World Series. And then we've got Louisville and back to Baltimore to handle some properties. We've got that one foreclosure. Actually, I've got a video I'm sending you, so you can put that out. Sweet. We've got a sale coming out a little bit more than a week from now. And that should be the travel coming up. And then Costa Rica in November.
Golly. So if you think you're exhausted from your business, just rewind 45 seconds and listen to the next couple of weeks in Robby's business. That's true. That's tremendous. I love that. About to get the feet back in the water after close on that. You got the thing, and I love that. That's fantastic. So you're staying stateside for quite a while, which is good, usually from an internet connection perspective. So I love that. And then heading out to Costa Rica. Okay, cool. Very nice. And it's all still somehow relevant to the note business or real estate specifically, which makes it awesome.
We managed to keep it that way somehow. I'm not sure.
Somehow. Oh wait, Costa Rica. Isn't this where you went and you saw that? You stayed next. Isn't this where you went and stayed next to that cat who had that really nice piece of land?
That is correct. That is correct. We'll save that one. That's another episode. That's a whole nother episode.
We gotta keep them coming back for more. I love it. That's fantastic. All right. Any more parting shots for the people on today's show, sir?
Dude, love it. Enjoy the show. Thanks for listening. I got to get going to Spring Hill, so that's all I got for this week.
That's right. You got to head out and see the Jeff Conway. I love it. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for listening to the episode. If this is your first time here, be sure to head over to iTunes, give us a rating, a review, and, of course, subscribe. And, as always, the show notes will be over at notenba.com. And be sure this week to tell 5 other people you know about the Note NBA podcast. Catch you guys next week.
Take it easy, guys. Thanks for checking in.